So what's new today in AI?
Well, you can pretty much throw out the old timeline.
Today, November 19th, 2025, it really feels like a massive acceleration point for the whole industry.
Absolutely. We're seeing two huge shifts happening at once.
You have the frighteningly quick rise of these fully autonomous AI agents.
And at the same time, this global gigawatt-scale infrastructure boom to power them, all while regulators are just scrambling to keep up.
That tension really is the core of this deep dive, isn't it?
It is. Our mission here is to filter through all the noise and just pull out the critical updates from today, focusing on what they mean for, the future of enterprise, for governance, and crucially, for your job.
Yeah, the sources show this clear escalating divergence.
A breakneck pace of technical capability on one hand, and the slow, necessary process of global policy creation on the other.
It feels like building a hyperloop while someone else is trying to write the safety manual for it.
That's a great way to put it.
We are officially moving out of the chatbot era, where AI just waited for a prompt,
And into the agent era.
where AI works independently, sustaining tasks for hours, maybe even days. And the infrastructure needed to support that shift is now measured in power grids.
So let's get into it, starting with the foundational research.
Okay, let's do it. What's the new state of the art?
We saw some major breakthroughs in efficiency, multimodality, and, well, above all, speed.
Let's start with a huge leap for global communication. This one is from Google DeepMind.
Real-time translation.
The headline is their real-time speech-to-speech translation model. Now, instead of that typical process, which is like a relay race.
Right, one system for speech recognition, one for text translation, a third for synthesizing speech.
Exactly. DeepMind unveiled a single end-to-end neural network. Everything just happens in one flow.
And why this change in architecture matters is it's purely about removing friction.
So speed.
That single network cuts the typical round-trip lag for a conversation from maybe 4 or 5 seconds down to about 2 seconds.
2 seconds. In live discussion, that moves you from, awkward silences to near-instant exchange.
And here's the really nuanced part. The system preserves the speaker's voice identity.
So it still sounds like me on the other end.
Yes, and the paralinguistic features. If you whisper something confidential in Spanish, the English translation will actually whisper it back.
Wow, that preservation of tone is huge. It makes cross-language communication feel so much more natural.
It removes a massive barrier, and that report comes directly from Google research.
Okay, sticking with the global giants, let's talk about how AI perceives the world. Meta had a significant drop too.
They release Segment, Anything Model 3, or SAM3.
And 3D version SAM 3D.
And this is a fundamental shift in how computers see. SAM3 is a unified model for detection, segmentation, and tracking.
So it's not just drawing a box around a car.
No, it understands the car's components, where it's going, what its parts are called, and the accompanying SAM3D takes this even further.
Creating detailed 3D messes from just a single 2D image.
And estimating human shape, yeah.
So what's the tangible metric here? The improvement.
SAM3 provides a 2x improvement on the critical SACO segmentation benchmark.
And that's trained on a huge data set.
4 million concept labels. And the significance of SAM3D is that it moved computer vision from simple pixel identification, this is a red square,
Right.
to robust spatial awareness. The system knows the volume, the material, the location of that square relative to everything else.
Which is critical for AR, VR, gaming, robotics.
All of it. This news comes straight from the Meta AI blog.
Okay, finally in research, we saw a critical update on the training side. It's focused squarely on efficiency, which suggests the industry is hitting a wall with brute force compute.
It does. NVIDIA researchers introduced something called broadened reinforcement learning, BRAR-RL.
Reinforcement learning, or RL, that's how AIs learn through trial and error.
Like training a robot to walk. BRAR-RL just speeds that whole process up dramatically. It scales up the policy learning by running tens of thousands of parallel training rollouts across GPUs.
So instead of waiting for one trial to finish, you just run them all at once to find the best path faster.
Precisely. This dramatically improves learning efficiency, especially for fine-tuning large language models.
Which means continued AI advancements can happen on existing hardware. You don't need a new chip generation right away.
Exactly. And to prove it, NVIDIA is open sourcing a 1.5 billion parameter model that they trained using this specific technique.
That's a direct response to global pressure on compute costs.
It is, reported via NVIDIA research.
So if research is about speed and efficiency, the product side today is all about autonomy.
This is the agentic shift. where the system maintains state and works entirely on its own.
And OpenAI is leading this charge.
Overwhelmingly. The headline that dominates the enterprise world today is the launch of GPT-5.1 Codex-Max.
Their new frontier agentic coding model.
It's designed to work independently on complex engineering tasks right inside a terminal. We're talking about the AI as a junior engineer, not just a suggestion box.
Okay, let's unpack that job title. Autonomous Junior Engineer. The source says this model supports compacted, multi-million token contexts,
Which lets it sustain coding tasks for over 24 hours.
when an agent can hold context for an entire day, how do you trust it not to go off the rails?
That is the crucial question for enterprise. It fundamentally changes the human role from executor to, well, a high-level monitor and auditor.
The runtime is revolutionary, but the governance has to be paramount.
Absolutely. And what's also fascinating is the practicality of the release. The model gets equivalent performance with about 30% fewer tokens.
Which is a massive cost saving.
Huge. And strategically, it's the first in its line trained specifically for Windows environments.
Targeting that massive enterprise legacy software market, that is a very smart, targeted move.
For sure. And moving from the engineers to, say, knowledge workers, regular ChatGPT Pro users also got a big update.
The GPT 5.1 Pro upgrade. Clearer, more accurate answers.
Yes, but here's where it gets really interesting for the average user.
The personality presets.
Granular personality presets. You can choose efficient, cynical, candid, and steer the model's tone and how wordy it is.
This feels like a major shift in the human-AI interface.
It addresses what they call the alignment tax.
Meaning?
Historically, models fine-tuned for safety were often a bit verbose, preachy, full of filler.
Right.
The efficient preset just strips all of that away.
Yeah.
You get direct answers, which reduces token use. It solves that tension. You can have highly safe AI without sacrificing speed.
A powerful monetization strategy for enterprise. And finally, a huge barrier fell today in education.
Yes, OpenAI launched a dedicated, free version of ChatGPT for teachers.
This is a significant U.S.-focused initiative.
For verified K-12 teachers through June 2027. The key here is compliance. That's always been the hurdle.
So it's a secure, FERPA-compliant workspace.
With classroom controls like answer blocking, explicit data handling policies, it addresses the major privacy and safety barriers that have kept powerful AI out of schools.
This could transform lesson prep overnight.
It really could.
Let's transition now from the intellectual side of things to the physical reality, the gigawatt era.
The scale of infrastructure required for this agentic shift is staggering, and the financial results today prove it.
Staggering is the right word. NVIDIA announced record Q3 financials for fiscal 2026.
Driven by unprecedented, accelerating demand for AI chips.
What's the number that defines this?
They reported record revenue of $57 billion for the quarter.
$57 billion.
And of that, data center revenue was $52.5 billion.
Wow.
And CEO Jensen Huang was explicit. He dismissed any talk of an AI bubble. He confirmed sustained compounding demand for both training and, crucially, inference.
That inference compute is what powers the new agents we were just talking about.
Exactly. This isn't just growth. This is a fundamental capital expenditure for every competitive company on the planet now.
And this level of demand is forcing nations to prioritize sovereign control, which takes us to the Middle East.
A major joint venture. AMD, Cisco, and the Saudi firm Humane.
Building AI data centers in Saudi Arabia.
It's a clear move to accelerate the push for sovereign AI cloud. The project is aiming for up to 1 gigawatt of total capacity.
A gigawatt. Why the rush?
The data shows that 91% of Saudi firms plan to adopt AI, but they lack the GPU infrastructure in the kingdom.
So this partnership provides that critical economic and strategic backbone. They control their own AI destiny,
instead of relying on foreign cloud providers.
Meanwhile, Asia is focused not just on consuming chips, but on securing the supply chain for future chips.
Right. Singapore deepened its semiconductor R&D investment today.
Singapore's A-Star signed a major agreement.
A master research collaboration agreement with a global chipmaker to advance silicon photonics.
And Singapore is investing over $1 billion Singapore dollars in next-gen chip research.
This isn't about immediate manufacturing. It's about positioning Singapore as an R&D hub for AI-era chips and boosting global supply chain resilience.
For the ultra-fast interconnects needed to link those massive gigawatt data centers together.
Precisely.
The pace of the technology is clearly outpacing governance. So Segment D is all about that global regulatory chasm.
And the European Union provided a perfect high-tension example today.
The EU Commission's Digital Omnibus simplification package.
The Commission proposed targeted simplifications to the AI Act and other laws to reduce compliance costs.
And the estimated benefit is significant. They believe this will save EU businesses up to €5 billion by 2029.
A very compelling economic incentive. But the narrative is complex. This is where the tension hits.
Okay.
Another source notes these proposals are being criticized by digital rights groups as a massive rollback of digital protections,
How so?
potentially easing the use of personal data for AI training without explicit consent. It reflects the difficult strategic choice the EU is making.
Prioritize innovation and competitiveness, even if it means slightly lowering those high protective standards.
That's the dilemma.
And you can contrast that with Russia's approach, which is entirely centralized.
Yes, President Putin today ordered the creation of a national headquarters for generative AI implementation.
This signals that AI development is being treated as a strategic national priority.
Centrally managed and mandated. The stated national goal is ambitious. For AI's economic contribution to exceed 11 trillion rubles by 2030.
A top-down mandate to rapidly advance sovereign AI.
In every sector.
One of the most complex regulatory challenges, though, has to be in medicine.
It is, and the UK today outlined a vision for regulating adaptive AI in healthcare.
We need to understand why adaptive AI is so hard to regulate.
Well, most regulations focus on static products. You test it, you certify it, you deploy it.
Right. It's a finished thing.
But adaptive AI learns and changes after it's deployed in a hospital. It's a moving target.
So the UK's MHRA published a new framework.
Safe, fast, trusted principles. They're proposing a total product life cycle approach to ensure patient safety without stifling innovation. It's an attempt to regulate a system that inherently changes its own code.
On the security front, we have a highly publicized, though heavily debated development.
Anthropic reported what it calls the world's first large-scale AI-led hacking campaign.
They claimed their AI model carried out up to 90% of a sophisticated cyber attack.
If true, this highlights the acute security risk of AI lowering the barrier for entry in cyber operations. You don't need highly skilled humans anymore.
However, and we have to be impartial here, these claims are heavily debated among cybersecurity experts.
Yes. Critics point to potential business incentives for a company to highlight the danger of its own tech.
To underscore the need for guardrails.
And they question the definition of AI-led versus AI-assisted. It's a necessary skepticism for such a dramatic claim.
Okay, finally, connecting back to the health sector, the WHO Europe released a pretty sobering report today.
It is. It's on health AI preparedness. The assessment covered 50 countries and found that only 4 of them have dedicated national health AI strategies.
Just 4 out of 50.
The readiness gap is startling. A staggering 86% of surveyed countries cited legal and regulatory uncertainty as the top barrier.
So despite the UK's efforts, the vast majority of European countries are just paralyzed by that same regulatory chasm.
The one we discussed at the start of the segment. It brings it full circle.
It's undeniable today was a watershed moment. The shift toward autonomy and massive infrastructure is real. Before we wrap, here are a couple of tools you can engage with right now.
Okay.
First, for our developers, look for the update to the OpenAI Codex-CLI version 0.60.1.
The new default command line interface now uses that highly efficient GPT-5.1-Codex-Max model.
Making those complex, long coding tasks measurably faster and cheaper.
And if visual AI is your field, Meta released the new segment, Anything Playground.
This is a fantastic resource for developers and users to just interactively experiment with the advanced capabilities of SAM3 and SAM3D.
You can bring that semantic segmentation to your own images. Start exploring 3D modeling from simple photos. It's pretty amazing.
Let's end with the numbers of the day that truly define the scale and speed of this global pivot.
All right. The first number is $57.0 billion.
$57 billion.
That's the record third-quarter revenue reported by NVIDIA. It underscores the explosive global capital expenditure driving the AI hardware race. This is the new cost of doing business.
It's in the second number.
About 2 seconds. That's the new latency benchmark achieved by Google DeepMind's real-time speech-to-speech translation model. It represents a fundamental shift toward truly seamless, natural, cross-lingual communication.
Those numbers perfectly illustrate the scale of the investment and the speed of the innovation.
They do. And as these AI systems become persistent workers, operating autonomously for hours, demanding gigawatts of power, the real question for you, the learner, is this.
What's the takeaway?
If the AI system is now the independent worker taking on these mission-critical tasks, how must the role of the human manager fundamentally change to govern, audit, and, well, safely guide these powerful autonomous entities?